Hey, welcome. If you're getting ready for the German test for immigrants, the DTZ, then you have come to the right place. We are going to map out this entire exam step by step so you know exactly what to expect. Okay, let's jump right in.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll do a quick overview of what the DTZ is all about. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the written exam, and after that, the oral exam. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at how you get your final score, and most importantly, what it takes to land that B1 certificate. All right, first things first. Let's get a bird's eye view of the test. What exactly is the DTZ?
At its heart, the DTZ is all about proving your German language skills. Now, the key thing to understand is that it's a scaled test. That just means you can pass at one of two levels, either A2 or B1. And the whole thing is structured around two main parts.
And here they are, the two big pillars of the test. On one hand, you've got the written exam, which bundles together listening, reading, and writing. And on the other hand, you have the oral exam, which, as you can see, is all about speaking. Okay, let's dive into that written exam and pay close attention to the subtitle here because it's so important. 100 minutes, 3 parts, and, this is the big one, no break. This is a test of endurance, for sure.
100 minutes, that's the total time you get. It's really important to burn this number into your brain because you've got to manage that time really well across 3 different sections.
So this is how that 100-minute marathon breaks down. You're going to start with about 25 minutes for the listening part, then you'll roll straight into a 45-minute reading section, and you'll finish everything off with a 30-minute writing task.
For that listening part, you're going to be hearing real-world stuff. Things like short, everyday conversations, automated messages you'd hear on the phone, quick radio announcements, or those really important announcements at the airport or train station. Right after that, it's the reading section, and your main job here is to pull out key information from texts you'd see every day. We're talking about understanding emails and letters, scanning classified ads for specific info, making sense of official notices, and just getting the main point of a short newspaper article. And finally, to cap off the written exam, you have the writing task. You'll get a practical, real-life prompt, kind of like this one. You'll be given a situation and 4 specific points that you absolutely have to cover in your email or letter. Okay, let's switch gears to the second major part of the exam, the oral test. This part is way shorter, but the dynamic is completely different, mostly because you'll be doing it with a partner. Just 16 minutes, that is it. Trust me, it goes by in a flash, so knowing the structure inside and out is absolutely key. And here is that structure. Those 16 minutes are split into 3 little parts. First, you'll introduce yourself. Pretty simple. Second, you'll talk for a bit about a personal experience, usually based on a picture. And third, the big one, you'll plan something together with your partner. Now, this is so important. That third part, planning something together, is widely considered the most critical piece of the oral exam. And why is that? Because it's where you really show that you can use German to collaborate, to negotiate ideas, and to work with someone to reach a goal. So, for instance, you might get a task just like this. You and your partner want to visit a friend in the hospital, and you have to plan it together. You'd need to discuss things like, when should we go? What should we bring? How do we get there? It's all about that back and forth conversation. All right, you made it. You finished the written and the oral exams. So, what's next? Let's talk about how this whole thing is scored and how you end up with either an A2 or a B1 result. Remember how we said at the very beginning that this is a scaled test? Well, this just means there's no simple pass or fail. Instead, they look at your performance across the board, and based on that, they award you a certificate for either the A2 or the B1 level. This table breaks down exactly what you need for B1, and it's really specific. So, to get that B1 certificate, 2 things have to happen. First, you must hit the B1 level in the oral exam. That's not negotiable. Second, you also have to get B1 in at least one of the written sections. So that's either in the listening and reading part or in the writing part. If you check both of those boxes, you get the B1 certificate. If not, you get the A2. It's as simple as that. And that's our complete tour of the DTZ exam. The whole thing, from start to finish, is really designed to see how well you can communicate in practical, everyday situations. So, now that you know the roadmap, there's really only one question left. Are you ready to take that next step?